So this is today the painting I want to do. I want to do an oil painting, and this is an imaginative painting. I will use some reference image to have some kind of reference regarding the light. But I want to try a new technique. If you look at my different videos, I did many type of oil paintings, and each time I change a bit my techniques because I want to improve. And this time I want to try the grisaille method. The grisaille method is a method where you paint first in one tone of color the model or the figure of your paintings. Then you wait that it dries, and afterwards you will do the real painting with all the nuance and type of color. So I think I will do two different videos. First video will be this one, will be the grisaille, and afterwards I will do a second one. Once the painting is dried, I will do the normal painting. So I draw this young man holding the flowers. I think it's a narcissus. I think I want to call it Narcissus because, yes, maybe it's a beautiful young man with a narcissus flower. So it's maybe a reference to the mythology story of Narcissus. So this is a bit the idea. Yeah, I'm trying not to do, I don't know, I don't want to do realistic painting with oil. I don't know, I like to imagine something new. So it's a mix of something realistic and something which is not realistic at all, which is a bit imaginative. So it's a bit difficult because I have to figure out the light and how I will do the painting. So I want to work with the light. I mean, I need to think about how I will do the light. So what I was thinking is the sun maybe is during the sun, when the sun is setting down. So the light will come this way, and it will be like the light will be here, and there will be some darkness here, kind of heavy darkness to make a contrast and to make it nice about the light. What can I say? Yeah, maybe I want to do a sky a bit pinkish, orangey, and all the greenery here. I want also to do a lot of greenery because I want to improve in the greenery category when I oil paint. I'm doing too much of portrait, so I really want to improve in this category as well. As you may know already, I don't use any kind of toxic product. So what I'm going to use as a medium is a Sennelier medium, and also the gel. So here's the gel medium I'm using, Green for Oil. Of course, I'm using as well some linseed oil. This one's from Winsor and Newton. And for the grisaille, I'm thinking about 3 colors for the moment. So I will use this Sennelier ocre, ocre de rue, brown ochre, this Van Gogh, which is a white. I have different kind of white, but I will use this one, titanium white. And there is safflower oil inside. This I didn't know. Okay, but I know there is different kind of oil for oil painting, and I don't know why you use safflower. I know some people use safflower, but I don't know for which. Maybe to make it dry quicker. I know oil, linseed oil, it's for make it the painting when it's too dry, you make it more smooth. But it's more difficult to, when you use linseed oil too much, it's difficult to make it dry. Medium helps you to make it dry also quicker. Yeah, and the third color, I'm mumbling, sorry. So the third color I will use black. So to make some, so I was thinking that I will dilute a bit of this ochre with the thinner, and I will maybe apply on all the paper. So it's all, I didn't talk about which support it is. It's oil paper that I just stick on this old canvas, because I want to paint like in this position. And so yes, it's a oil paper. I think it's Rembrandt, the brand. And so I will cover this color, ocre de rue, with thinner, and afterwards I will try to paint the model in white, black, white, this kind of gradation. And yes, let's see how we are going to do. So I'm going to apply first the color on this palette. So it's a tear-off palette, which is, you can, once the painting is dried, you can throw it away. I'm always using this kind of very convenient palette. So let's apply the color. So I apply some ocre here and some white here and a bit of black here. I think white I will have to use a lot. Black not so much, because you don't need a lot of black to make this gray scale tone. So yes. Then I will put some medium inside this little jar. So for the material, I'm reusing old jar. Maybe there was some I don't know, some yogurt inside, and I just clean it when I buy this kind of item, and I just use it for painting. It's really convenient. You don't need to spend a lot to get your materials. So yes, so I put a bit of thinner inside. So I have a lot of brushes. So hard brushes like this kind of brushes are quite hard. I have also some very soft brushes like this. So my brushes, the brand is usually Vinci. It's really cheap brushes. It's acrylic brushes usually. The how do you call this? The bristles. So when I start oil painting, I always like to use very hard brushes. So this type of brushes. So I'm thinking that maybe I can use this one. And I don't know, I prefer to start with hard brushes to apply the first layer, and because there's no details. And when you go into details, I think soft brushes are the best, and also very thin brushes. So let's start. So I'm taking a bit of medium with my brush, and yes, I will mix the thinner, yes, with the painting, like this, like so. I will apply on all the surface the painting. So maybe I added a bit more thinner because it was not enough liquidy, but I don't want to be too liquidy. I look for some tutorial about grisaille, and usually the painting is quite liquid but not too much. So I'm trying to, yes, to apply the painting. I try to do it evenly, and yes, this way. So I will work a bit on this part, and maybe I'm not going to show you the whole process. So this is what we have for the moment. I applied, as you can see, the ochre on the surface of all the painting. And now what I looked, when I was looking at this tutorial, the artists who were doing this grisaille, they were using a piece of paper, like a tissue like this, and they will remove now the painting on the lighter area. I mean, where there is light, I will remove the painting. I'm going to show you how I'm doing. So this way. So here I plan to, yes, because the light is coming in this direction. So this part for me should be more clear, lighter. Yeah, I can see the difference. I never tried this kind of method, but I think it can be effective, because it's a bit like you start already to paint while removing the dark area. So here, maybe here as well. I don't know if you can see. Let me show you. So here as well, and here where there is the flower. So I'm trying to remove as much as possible the first layer, where I think the light will be, where I think the light will be, simply. And there is already a kind of gradation, like here it's darker, here is lighter, and I don't know, I think I never think about doing this before, and I think it's the joy of learning little by little. You discover many things, and yeah, I quite like the process for the moment. Here I want to put a little bit butterfly, and I think the light is coming in this direction, so the light will hit here, and maybe a bit, maybe it's not really accurate, but I want to hit the light hit this part of the face and the little butterfly to make it to enhance the little animals, because I think I want the greenery to be a bit in the darker shade, and like this the light is coming to reveal the little bit butterfly. And also I want the light also on the flower, of course, and on this part. When I see this result, I'm really tempting to start to paint already the face with the right colors and everything, but we are here to make grisaille, so we will do a grisaille. So let me show you. Maybe I move, okay, I move my camera here. So I want to do a grisaille with white and black. So I already put the white here and the white here and the black here. So let's take a new brush. Taking the same brush, I will just clean it with the paper, like this. So, yes. So a little bit of black, but really a little bit, because black is really a strong color. I don't know why the composition of black, but among all the oil painting, black is really strong, you see? And the white is always very dry. So, should I put a bit of medium? Maybe I'm hesitating between a bit of thinner or a bit of oil, linseed oil, but I want to dry it quite quickly, so maybe a little bit of thinner. Voilà. Now it's quite gray. Maybe I will put a bit of linseed oil, but let's start like this, and if it's too dry, I will put some linseed oil for sure. So let's start. So the painting is quite thick, but white is always really dry and quite thick actually. So it's a very light gray. I'm starting with a very light gray, not white already, but gray. I need to imagine how the light will hit the body of this young man. Maybe I'll show you here as well. See here also some light, because I'm thinking that I need a bit to contrast the color. But I think I will change brush because this brush is too big actually. So I will change my brush and take a thinner brush. So I took a thinner brush, this one, and I added also a bit of linseed oil in the painting, and now I will try to contrast. So let me show you if I can. So here's the situation. Here, so I'm starting to trying to find some gradation in the white, gray, and black. And yes, and I want to apply the gradation in function of the light and the darkness and the shadow. And yes, it's what I'm going to do. Sorry for the crows. So many crows around my area, they're just screaming like crazy. I'm using now a smaller brush, still a hard brush. I want to do finest details, that's why I'm using this thinner brush. I will work with even a smaller brush now for the detail of the face, because yes, I'm struggling a bit and I really want to get more details. Now the face is almost covered, and I think I need to, yes, to finalize the face a little bit more. Regarding the face, I'm starting to get some features on this face for the eyes and the nose and the mouth, but it's not definitive. It's just I'm trying to get some marks, and maybe it will change completely when I will apply the real color for the painting. So yes, but for the exercise, I want to make this contrast with gray and white because we are working on the grisaille method. Actually, with oil painting, you always can change in the middle of your painting. You can always change the way you want to go, because it's not like gouache or watercolor, or it's more difficult to change. You can always put layer on layer. So yes, that's why it's not maybe a definitive face for sure. I think I want to take even a soft brush, but very, very thin. So I will do. That's what I'm going to do. So let's try another brush. Maybe this one. So the eyes were not even. Now I can see if I go a bit further. So I try to make them at the right 8. all together. So I think I will stop here for my grisaille. So this is the result. I show you. Of course, I could have added more details, but for the moment, I'm quite happy with this result. Now, why I'm doing grisaille, I will just read you what I found on internet about this technique. So grisaille is coming from the French gris, and this is a technique which is used by many oil painters. So what they say, it's so you're adding a medium shade of gray to create shadows. You can go in grisaille in very fine details. This is not maybe what I'm doing as detailed that what a professional would do, but I'm starting with this new technique, so I don't want to make it, I don't know, I'm happy with this result. I don't want to mess it up, I would say, so I will stop here, and I like the result for the moment. So it's an underpainting with gray tones, as you can see. So it is said that it has several benefits. It can be cost effective. You're only using shade of one color. It will help with painting over in color. You can use gray tints and shades that can be easily covered up. An artist also only has to focus on the light and shade without thinking about color. So it's also a way for you to think more about the composition of your painting, I suppose, with the light and the shadow. What else? Can be done also with watercolor. So it's a good technique also if you want with watercolor, but I cannot imagine how afterwards you put the color on the top of it. This is a bit tricky for me, and I have to say. Acrylic painting, of course, you can use grisaille because acrylic painting after you can layer on. So I suppose it will enable me to waste less painting because I do this grisaille. I will wait it to dry completely, and after I will paint over. So it's like I'm doing a second painting because when it will be dry, I won't be able to move everything. Like normally oil painting, you can still move around if you continue to painting and add oil. But the technique I want to do is to wait till dry, I think maybe half drying, and after I want to paint over it. So yes, I'm not sure what the technique, how this technique is effective. I just want to try something new. If you have any recommendation or any advice about grisaille, let me know. So I will stop here. I will wait until it dry, and I will do a second video for the real painting. So thank you for watching for the moment, and I hope you are interested by this technique as I am, and we can share our improvement and how we're doing with oil painting. And I will do the second video. I don't know when exactly. It's difficult for me because I still don't have a lot of time. Sometimes it's with my work aside, I have to work aside, so I try to find time to paint. Also, I would be very happy if you can subscribe to my channel and to like my video. But yes, so thank you very much, and see you for the next video. Bye bye.